Hi, everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and we're back with another review. Today, we're taking a look at from the Walmart exclusive Generations Retro line. This is Deluxe Class Seaspray. Okay, yeah, sorry about that, guys. I had to. For those of you who didn't slam your back button, here we are. We're taking a look at retro deluxe class Seaspray. Very interesting. Usually these molds had been just repaints, retools with new heads of pre-existing figures. This is the first time we're getting a new mold, which has led people to speculate that we're going to get a more animation accurate Seaspray, which, as many people have also said, what's the difference? Would be a little bit of a retooling to the head. Now, I had pre-ordered this figure. I had got a notice that to check my address that it was going to be shipping, and then I find out it pops in stock, and people were actually getting it shipped and delivered while my pre-order sat there. This is now like the third time that has happened with a pre-order from Walmart, not necessarily Transformers. So I actually went ahead, ordered this, canceled the pre-order, and then I got it noticed that it was going to be delayed to October 1st, only to wake up and find out the next day that it shipped and was on its way. Well, actually, no, it was shipped, then I was delayed to October 1st. Meanwhile, they still had listings, in stock listings that said I could have it on the 28th, but then it turned around and was delivered like yesterday. So there you go. Walmart be Walmarting. As of right now, Braun is still set for October 1st, but who knows if that could change. Seaspray, very interesting figure. A lot more involved than I initially thought. That's not necessarily a good thing, not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing. One thing I can tell you, it is very articulated. You do have a ball joint at the head here, but as you can see, you basically have to go in there between the blades. So I'm like, every time I move it, I'm blocking it from the camera. It does come with a pistol, and I do appreciate with these deluxe mini bots, that they're going through and using some of the animation style pistols that we saw, the random pistols, because not everyone had like specific weaponry like Optimus Prime's ion cannon, Cliff Jumper's glass gun, Prowl's acid pellet gun, Starscream's null rays. Sometimes they just use little generic blasters like this, and what Studio Series 86 Bumblebee comes with. So it is nice. The arms are on universal joints. There is a mushroom cap in the bicep, right above the elbow joint. The wrists do have some articulation. I'm not exactly sure what that is for, because they don't fold in, and I mean the articulation really doesn't help with the transformation. You did see that there was a waist joint. You do have the universal hip joints here. And again, I like this new thing where the hip skirt is built in, so that just helps keep things out of the way. Nice knee bend. And now the feet, you'll notice that a lot of the transformation is actually in the feet. So you have these nice wide feet, but they were able to work in an ankle pivot as well. And if you untransform it slightly, you do get a little bit of toe waggle. But so, like I said, the transformation is very involved, and we're going to start off with that. But before real quick, let me just pop out the gun here. One thing I think I mentioned this when we looked at gears. I appreciate that they paint the gun, but they make sure to leave the part of the grip that's going to go in the figure's hand unpainted. Paint won't scuff. Nice little touch. Makes it a little bit easier to go in. Now, if you want to store it, well, unfortunately, I thought of that post, but the clip is blocking it. The magazine, I should say. You do have a little post right here, which can also be used as an attack mode. But that's really more for the vehicle mode. But I guess you can store it there if you want. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it'd be nice if there was a little out-of-the-way storage, but... so yeah, the transformation, like I said, much more involved than I thought. And I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to take you through going to vehicle mode and then back to robot mode. So to start things off, start with the figure in a neutral position. Rotate the arms around so the elbows are facing away from you. And then rotate the head. Oh, and did I mention? Oh, I didn't mention, but the propellers do spin quite nicely, so that's a nice little touch. So when you have that done, come around the back here, flip up this panel, and then unpeg. Ooh, we're gonna talk about this in a second. You want to unpeg the torso here, the propeller section, and it's going to fold back, and you're going to fold it up and then bring it back down around. So it was pegged in this way. Now you're going to peg it in using those tabs in the traditional way. Well, I should say the traditional Seaspray way. Now you saw that this part popped off. Unfortunately, I do have a problem here where this side likes to pop off, and it's one of those situations where I'm not sure what exactly is pushing out against it, and because it's on a hinge piece, getting it back in can be a little tricky. But actually, once you have that done, so normally it's up like this. You want to straighten it out and double full hinge it out that it's flat like that. And I don't know, to me it looks a little warped. I don't know if it's in the packaging. There's a clear elastic band. It's the only one on the figure, and it's right across this midsection. I think there's even, like, now it's a plastic band and then there's an elastic band, and I want to say that the tension might have warped those pieces a little. But anyway, so you have the head and that torso section like this. What you want to do now is rotate the arms all the way on this yellow hinge piece here, down and around like so. That's going to help make sure it's in position for vehicle mode. Then you can come in and flip up this panel piece right here, and it'll snap in place and cover the robot mode head. Just making sure things are lined up. So now we're going to come to the feet. And this is, like I said, where a lot of the transformation is, and it's amazing how they were able to clean things up. So the first thing you want to do is fold out this side panel, and then flip up this piece here, which will form the front of the hydrofoil. And then come in, and you're going to fold up, and there's the second piece of the front of the hydrofoil. Repeat it again on this side. And if you have a problem with that side piece folding in, it's make sure you have these two pieces folded down. Now what you want to do is come around the back here, flip out. There's two panels on this side, one on this side. And now unpeg the foot, and then you're going to collapse it down and inward like so. They kind of show that as like multiple steps, and it can be a little confusing, but you just want to fold it up and in like that. And at this point, you can try and peg the legs together. And this is my first issue with the figure, is that the tabs really don't like peg in with the foot. Now coming around to the back here, fold the waist joint up, and it'll snap into place right there. Straighten the legs out, but do it in such a way that you're going to fold them at the knees, because there's little nubbins here at the knee pads that are going to tab in right there on the chest, and that is something, that has to be done. And it's important that it's done because if it's not folded up properly, the arms won't be able to tuck in. So rotate this chest piece around. There's a soft detent in one direction. There's a soft detent in the other, but there is a little bit of waggle, so just make sure you have it lined up straight. Bring the arms in underneath. They will tab in to the side of the hydrofoil there. Then you can close up these panels. These will tab into the legs, just like that. And give it the old transformer squeeze a little. Be careful not to press too hard on the front because that will pop the panels down. And yep, I do believe we have a hydrofoil. Making sure it looks evenish on both sides. And there we go. Make sure those arm hinges are straight. That'll help. So there we go. And there's Seaspray in its vehicle mode. You can peg this into the side. I think, was it the G.I. Joe hydrofoil was called the Whale? How cool would it be if we get this repainted as the Whale? There's no wheels on the bottom, so you really can't zoosh this around. But the propeller spin is very nice. Like I said, a lot more involved than I initially thought. Now, the Power of the Primes version, I don't know. I think I kind of like that transformation a little bit more. I think it was a little bit simpler. Because when you start getting into the feet and you have all those little panels to deal with, it's one of those things where everything has to line up just so. But then again, this comes with a gun. The chest piece isn't removable. But I mean, and I think the back is a little more accurate to the original design. Oh, and I do appreciate the Autobot logo tampo printed on. Now, I don't know how well that's going to stay since the legs do tab in there, but that is kind of nice. So, now did you guys know that Alan Oppenheimer, the voice of Seaspray, who was also Skeletor, was actually a cousin of Dr. Oppenheimer that they just made the film about, the guy who invented the atomic bomb? And that came out when the film came out, so probably sure most of you know it. But, like I said, very nice. I guess animation accurate because the shades of the blue are pretty much the same. Now, to go back into robot mode, remove the gun, unpeg these side panels here, bring the arms down and out, keep them, try to keep them out of the way, give yourself some room to work with. Rotate this panel down like that, and then just start unfolding things. The legs are probably going to unpeg from one another, so I guess that's kind of okay. Now, one of the hardest things I have is when having to unpeg this waist joint. So you just got to get your thumb in there and push on it, and that'll bring it forward, and that will only really soft friction into place. So you have that. So bring the feet up and around, and like I said, there's like a little tab right there that's going to lock into the foot, but that doesn't affect the ankle pivot. That's actually, it works with the ankle pivot. That's actually the hinge for the ankle pivot. So do it again on that side. And really now we can come around to the back, fold this panel in first. This one has a little tab that'll kind of sit there. This one just folds in on its own. Come underneath, unpeg that one, unpeg that one, unpeg that one, and then fold it up like that. Gives you a solid foot and cleans up the foot a little, making it a little more proportionate to the robot mode. Go ahead and bring up these torso pieces. Unfortunately, there isn't a color photo. I think this is meant, and I really wasn't paying attention when I got this out of the packaging. I think these are meant to angle inward. The instructions are done in the old G1 style. So, because I mean, if you try to straighten them out, there is a little bit of a gap there. Again, it might be, I mean, I'm looking now and I think, yeah, it does angle in. So just have that. And then fold that panel down. Rotate the arms up and into place. Just like that. You have that panel down. unpeg this, the propeller section, and then collapse it down into the chest, just like so. Bring up the arms, and then this panel will come down and peg in again. That has everything pretty much locked into place. Rotate the elbows around, and then rotate the head around. And there you have Seaspray back in its robot mode. Yeah, so what do I think of Seaspray? I'm glad to have it. Absolutely. I think this is a, I think we needed a little something more Generation 1 accurate. But I'm curious to see how they're going to repaint it or handle it going into like a, for a, the animation style, since it's supposed to be the toy style. And also what other uses they'll get out of the mold. I'm not as in love with this mold as I was with, say, Brawn or even Gears. I just find it a little too fiddly. Now, a lot of that has to do with that inner torso piece there that likes to pop off when you're not looking and then trying to get it back on. It is a little bit of a pita, as I like to say. See, and now I'm looking, and it looks like it's supposed to be sitting flush. So, I mean, yeah, it's just one of these things where I think it was a little warped in the packaging. I'm sure people will correct me. I mean, I have it as pushed in as much as I can. Well, actually, right there, it does look like that it's sitting out of the peg slot a little, so there we go. There's that. Yep. Yeah, see, that's my thing. It's like when it's these little pieces with the double hinge and all that, it's like, it's a little unwieldy to deal with. But, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to have it. I'm not as in love with it. I'm glad, actually, I didn't spend like the $60, $70 to get this up, 2 months early, because they've been on shelves at the Walmarts in Canada. But I am happy to have it. So if you are interested, these are in stock now at Walmart.com. I don't think they've been found in stores yet. If you have a pre-order and it still says like September 25th, September 26th, my advice is order this, cancel the pre-order. If there's like a gift card thing going on, cancel the order first. Make sure you get the credit back. I would say complain to customer service, but the customer service I found at Walmart really isn't that wonderful. But yeah, I think it's a great addition to the collection. I think we're closing in on like the Season 1, Season 2 mini bots. And yeah, that's about all. So if you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate the views, but the likes, comments, and subscriptions help with the algorithm to show to YouTube that my channel should be exalted and held upon high. For to make the ultimate sign of support, I do have the Patreon. Do you know that millions of Cybertronians every millennia are victims of a never-ending civil war, like Seaspray here? But with your donation of $1 a month or $12 a year to my Patreon, you can help them get a better life. Yes, that's true, friends. It's www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. And no, I'm not going to sing. But yeah, so I do appreciate the help. It helps, keep up the infrastructure and all that. And lastly, this is your old pal Chuck reminding you, play with your toys. They're just more fun that way. For Seaspray, we will see you next time. Sorry, I had to do that again.